Welcome to another Cannabis Conversations with Casey on the Down the Road Show podcast. We're sponsored by my friend Bat at Dark Knight Studio, who made my Down the Road Show logo and all these amazing shirts. So if you need shirts for your podcast or whatever event you got coming up, hit him up at darknightstudios.com. And we're also sponsored by, me at pastorwellness.com. Check that out with my new Heavenly Teas and my new Holy Oil, which, I got to refill my own personal bottle because I go through so much of that, right? Yeah, and I got to put a label on it. It's not really for sale. It's a subscription. That's a free product.
You never know.
Loopholes. But today I'm very excited to bring in Rick. Rick, how is your day treating you on the West Coast?
My day is always good. If you wake up, it's a good day.
Better 6 feet above than 6 feet under, right?
There you go. So everything's awesome. So for all of you out there, my name is Rick Duchin. I've been in the cannabis industry for a bit of time and have done everything from growing to extraction to manufacturing to talking about it. So I can kind of hit all different levels of it. Currently, I'm with a company called SoulinU. I'm the president of that company. And, we have a couple brands that are out there. One of them, Soultopia, which is a beverage brand.
Which I'm excited to talk about because you sent me your SoulinU drops to try. When those who know and have been paying attention, because we met on Green Room and Clubhouse and through there, I was going through some crazy health stuff with my eye and my neck and all my other inflammation from my arthritis and neuropathy and whatnot. And that was a game changer. It came to me just in time because the migraines and the pain behind my eye, like I do with anytime someone sends me a product to try, I make sure I haven't even smoked any weed. And then I try their CBD just alone to see how it affects my overall health and wellness. Sure. And after a week of using your D8 drops, I noticed a significant difference in the pain that was going on behind my eye and the amount of vision, because it was going blurry left and right too. And then I stopped for a couple days and boom, pain, back, vision, horrible again. And I was like, boom, that's how I knew SoulinU is good for me, and it just might be good for you.
Yes, there you go. And I love that little thing. It is good for you, and it is good for, and it's just for you. I actually like saying that because, we didn't make it for us. We made it for our customers and looking at what they need. And, no manufacturer on a planet is a true manufacturer if you're making the product for you and then you're shoving it down people's throats. You got to come from the customer's end. You have to understand what they're looking for, and you got to represent them in your company, because without them, you do not exist. And, what's the point of that? So.
Yeah, you know what? If you don't have the people, you don't got the profits, plain and simple. And if we don't have a sustainable planet, we don't have the people for the profits anyway.
Goes on and on and on.
On and on it goes. Yeah. So I love hearing your knowledge when you're on Clubhouse talking about the different things, especially because you're such a advocate for not just the plant, but whole plant medicine and the CBD and all the different cannabinoids you can get besides just the THC, because we know how many people just like, ooh, THC, that's all I want to talk about. But right. No, at some point in our history, it was a perfect plant.
Yeah, still is.
Yeah. Still is.
Still a perfect plant. And the name of it's cannabis. It's not, people like calling it hemp. That's a side name that was given to it. It's cannabis. And the cannabinoids, there's CBD and there's THC. Which one you want? You have to just, that was something we created. So we as humans created. The plant itself never did that. It was never like a strong THC based plant. It was always a CBD plant. And I'm sure there's some people that are going to be yelling and screaming and arguing that point, but I'm doing tens of thousands of years of use. They had extraction processes way back in the day. They were able to make oils out of it. They were able to put it in elixirs and all that. And most of those guys that you see on the television shows, driving around in their little wagons, handing out elixirs at all those little cowboy towns. Mm-hmm. That was hemp.
That magic
That was
elixir.
cannabis.
Yep. Yep.
That was that product.
It's
And
my grandparents' parents used it regularly.
yes.
Every cough drop on the planet had alcohol, chloroform of all things, and cannabis in it.
Right.
Those main three ingredients.
Right. And it was a time in our country, and well, first off, around the world before the United States did its little stupid shit, it was the #1 product on the planet. If you didn't use it, if you didn't grow it as a farmer, you would get fined. You could use it to pay your bills and your taxes with the United States of America. So you didn't have to pay in cash. You can actually play in this product called cannabis in the day. So, you know, it is kind of funny that they were accepting it and they own a patent on it, and they've done over 12,000 research documents on this plant, but it does no good. And you know, it's dangerous for everybody, and it had nothing to do with you know, alcohol and getting all that stuff out on the planet and
Right.
the race and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, the girl has had some problems in her life, but for us old time guys that have been around it for a long time, it's still the girl and it's still the go-to. And
with
there you go.
Mary Jane. She's my main thing. Yeah. And always will be. Like, look, I'm a former alcoholic, but I was smoking the entire time too. And that's one of the reasons I hardly ever had a hangover from the alcohol, was because of the cannabis. But you're right. It's ridiculous. Our government owns how many multiple patents on cannabis, yet they want to throw people like you in jail back in the day over it because, you know, what term do you like? Legacy?
And I'm just an old dad that grew it. Like, you know, legacy, traditional, whatever you want to call it. You know, I could sit and talk about it all the time. I think the growers today are way better than I am. I left the growing scene a while back, and when I did leave I left it for a purpose. I went back to college, got my degree at UC Berkeley. That was part of my agreement with the government. And once I did that, they dropped all the charges against me, sealed up my record. And I was no longer one of those arrested kind of person, even though, you know, the whole time I was on probation. It took me exactly after I got arrested about 2 weeks to be back in selling it and all that kind of stuff. So I was a drug dealer.
So was I. Yeah, I sold enough so that I never had to pay for my own, because I smoked a shit ton back in the day, which means I also sold quite a bit too. But you know,
yeah.
Who's really counting? I wasn't. But yeah, so your love of the plant goes back to the days of, you know, before this medical marijuana phase of life. And so how have you taken that attitude into SoulinU and all the things you've learned from the plant? Because the plant is what educates us.
Well, you know, it's like I was out, you know, this plant has a way of, you know, I think the plant fishes for who it wants in the industry, you know, from the old day, and it kind of casts out these hooks and it hooks you. And once it gets its fingers and its body involved in yours, it brings you back when it wants you back and not before. And so, you know, going through the times, you know, when I got arrested and all that kind of stuff, came back into it pretty strongly, was still growing around the HIV program. And that's when I saw the pure medicine part of the plant rather than the dollars behind the plant. Like, to me, a pound in the beginning wasn't a pound of medicine, it was a pound of dollars. And that's how I operated. And, you know, when I saw pain actually leave somebody's body for the first time, and, you know, that was a moving place for me. And from that, I started playing around with, well, how do you do this? Like, how do you make medicine that is truly, you know, interesting? And So, I've done all the tinctures and the alcohol tinctures, the MTC stuff, and, I've done dabs and smoking, and, I've been in an extraction lab dumping ethanol on the plant. I've been, crushing it, trying to get a rosin out of it.
If it's an industry practice or a home practice, you've done it.
I've done everything to this girl. And even in the beginning of SoulinU, I was messing around with all the different cannabinoids. And I was a strong believer that, breaking the plant up, looking for all the different things you could do with it, and then trying to play God of what you should use to get through cancer and all that stuff, even though it was working on people with cancer, PTSD and tumors, and it was already doing what it was supposed to be doing. Yet I was thinking, like a lot of people in this industry, that if we break it all up, we'll be able to control it better by science and try to figure out what people need.
Right.
I think there's a lot of parts to the plant that people still will never understand, because there's a vibration to that plant. And I'm not trying to talk about voodoo crap. But everything on our planet has a vibration. The sun has a vibration. The moon has a vibration. Even when it's dark out, it casts the light out.
I should have worn my Pop Pastor shirt for this.
Yeah. So, like the plant has this vibration, and it has this ability to know what you need. Now, what you need and what I need are way two different things. So how do I make a medicine that I break up and then say it's going to be one part this, one part that, one part this, hand it to you and say that's going to work for you because it works for me? That would be like, I'm not about you. I'm about selling you a product, and I'm not really trying to figure out how to work with a plant with you. So I do believe that everybody should grow. Now, just the art of growing is a calming effect. And when you're around the plant and you're growing with the plant, you will have a different feeling for the plant. And that's just automatic. Yeah. But I understand a lot of people don't want to do it. I get a lot of people don't even want to smoke. And we're seeing that in statistics, it used to be a few years ago, all the dispensaries were selling 85% flower. Today, they're hovering around 40% of the people walk in, walk out with flower. And the rest of the people are walking out with edibles and other things other than the flower. And so there's a growth rate that's showing up, and that kind of dictates to who is actually buying it now. So, I would say that the dispensaries got people in their 40s to 60s to show up at a dispensary.
Right. And that's, the people that reach out to me are always like friends my age. I'm 47 now, asking about their grandparents or their parents who want to try either cannabis or CBD for the very first time. And they don't want to smoke it because they never smoked cigarettes or never smoked anything in their life. And then on top of that, there's a whole new breed of cannabis smokers that are having stomach issues that they're still trying to figure out scientifically if that has to do with cannabis, but they don't want to quit cannabis. So they're looking for other ways to consume it and utilize it as their medicine other than smoking it. I get that. I'm an old school smoker, but I'll consume it in any fashion. And that's one of the things I like about your SoulinU drops is they are water soluble. They act fast. The absorption rate is huge. And I'm going to tell you, man, the amount you're selling those bottles for, like those bottles go farther than any damn oil product I've ever purchased from a dispensary or tried or even homemade. Like the money was worth, well, okay, you can send it to me for free. So if I had paid for it, the money was well worth it.
Yeah, we even reduced the cost of that because we thought that there wasn't enough people purchasing it. So we reduced it down to like $20 or something like that.
So fucking steal.
Yeah. So, the idea of all this stuff, it, gets down to body availability. And I don't give a shit about doctors, and I'm not caring about, pharmacists or anybody else. It's what your body can absorb. And so when you put 3 drops underneath your tongue and you're going, yeah, this is going to really work. This is it. And it's an MCT, and it's going to go into your fatty things. And they talk about that. Well, let's talk about all this stuff. So Yeah, but that's only 8% of that bottle. So if you hold up your bottle that has MCT oil in it, you're only going to get 8% of that product in your body before your body realizes what you put in it, and it's going to kick it out. It's just not going to allow it to stay in there. When you smoke a joint, you're getting 30%. So why would you use a tincture that's 8% when you can buy the flower and get 30% out of it, right? So
Right.
huge thing, right?
That's why so many people like edibles. And then all of a sudden, oh, they didn't feel the edibles. They eat more and then they feel like they're going to die.
Right. So the problem with an edible is I'm handing you a sugar cookie. Like, give me a break.
Your body has to metabolize all of that.
Yeah, you don't want sugar in your body. I mean, it's not a good thing. And, there's so many people with diabetes in our country and, all this kind of stuff, the amount of sugars we get. We need to really look at this stuff. But I do think that, edibles will be and will stay to be the largest consuming part of the cannabis. Like, there'll be more people using edibles than anything else.
Oh yeah, cannabis restaurants, cannabis lounges, all the cannabis chefs. Shout out to you guys. You're the future.
It's off the charts. But so now there's this thing. It's how do I get the most amount of product into you in a fasted period of time? It's a water soluble. Now, there's multiple different ways, and we could talk about it. There's water soluble, which allows for a fast onset and will last a couple hours. It's not trying to get you high for the rest of your day. It's a couple hours. That's it. I don't care what anybody else says. It lasts 2 hours. I use it all the time. That's it. I can never go past the 2 hour mark. Then you got other things that are fat soluble. Now, a fat soluble will take a long onset and then it'll last 4 hours. Okay. But that's why an edible lasts so long in your system. It's a fat soluble product. Okay. And so everybody thinks it's better. But what happens if you take 2 drops or 3 drops or 5 drops, 2 hours later, take another 5 drops, 2 hours after that, take another 5? You're on continuously with a water soluble and you're replenishing. The cool part about water soluble is if you don't need it, it gets kicked out. Fat soluble is not that way.
Like any other vitamins, our body takes what we need and it just pisses out the rest.
The rest out because you don't need it. Mm-hmm. So it is interesting to do all that. So I went down this path about 6 years ago. So water soluble didn't show up for, I would say something, whatever that is. Something like most people got into it a couple of years ago and they've been going with that. And, we were playing around with, to be honest with you, I think I took too long. Like I wanted real testing. I wanted to go a long time. I wanted to make sure it was thing. We gave out easily 100 gallons of those 30 ml bottles that you saw, if not over that. Around the world.
Wow.
Helping people. And
no joke, guys, he's 100% serious. Anyone watching this, like there was just a time frame where it was just straight up anyone who sent him their address got one. So
yes. Yeah, I didn't hesitate. And it was the shipping part that was the expensive part to do that, not
I just went through that last month. Yeah, it broke me.
Yeah, it was insane, right? But so that's kind of where we behaved. And then, so we were trying to sell the drops, and the drops were, this idea that you can put them in anything. You can put them straight in your mouth. You can put them into a drink. You can make a coffee, drop them in there. You can, smash up some teas, make a tea, throw it in that. You can put it on your ice cream, your cereal in the morning. You can put it anywhere you wanted to do it, and you would be getting this medicine into your body. The other cool part about our drops were that we were looking at it as pain medicine too, because if your knee hurts and you were taken internally, could you rub it on your knee as well and get benefit from both sides of internal and external forces? And we find out that was true. We were able to get through the pain super fast and all that kind of stuff. So it was quite interesting. So currently, I use it as drops in pain. You can use we used to have a CBN product that, you could put on burns and you could watch the redness just disappear off your arm. And so we were doing all these other tests with our product to see what you can actually do. And through this period of time, I met Charlie Krebs, and I'm sure you know him, right?
Yep. I've been on his podcast.
There you go. So Charlie kind of came to me and he was like, hey, I like to test out your things. Can I get a bottle just the same way? And I'm like, yeah, where are you looking? He goes, Napa. And I said, so am I. And he was like, what the fuck? And excuse me for cussing.
No, all you want on this show.
And so he came over and, got the drops, walked home, called me up the next day and goes, what the shit? What? Like, this is not possible. And
it is, though.
And then we started playing with making beverages. So we came out with a company called Soultopia. And so we started playing around with mixing lemonades and other stuff. And the biggest part of that business was to create a drink that had no added sugars, that everything in it was certified organic juices, not from concentrates. So we actually get, big totes of fresh juice. And then we blend all those things together. We do what we need to do. And then we add our stuff at the end and we can it and put it in the bottles. And so that's kind of the business model for Soultopia. It's a drink company and it's now selling all the beverage drops and all that kind of stuff. And awesome. So part of this whole thing was when we were doing this, the drinks, I had a dream. I went to bed, had a dream. And, it's kind of, it's weird what you find in dreams.
No, that's where my best ideas come from.
Yeah. So I had this dream that I was going out with this girl and I was chopping her up into pieces. And
that took a turn.
And I was deciding what part of the girl I wanted to go out with. And I was scratching my chin, just like you were doing, going, what part of this girl do I want to go out with? And it freaked me out. And I woke up and I was like, what the fuck kind of dream is that? What am I, nuts? And then it came to me that the girl was the cannabis plant. And what I was doing was chopping it up into CBD, CBN, CBG, all these different things. And I decided I'm not going to do that. I am not God. I am not capable of knowing what you need. And so my job is to give you the plant in a way that you can have it and enjoy it without me trying to alter it for you before you know what you want. So
amen.
Yeah. And so that's why we make all of our drinks are made from live resin. We do not sit there and pull the plant apart to do that.
Okay. So they're live resin drinks, because I know you were and metaphor people, it was a metaphor. He's not chopping up anyone, just to state the obvious for the dumb people in the back. But because I know you were messing around with terpenes too as a possible option. Did you get to work those into the new drink?
Well, the cool part about terpenes, if you do it right, you take the plant the way it's supposed to. And so a lot of people with live resin or live rosin or whatever you want to talk about start with a fresh frozen product, and then they start going with a fresh frozen product, and then you have all this chloroform and other stuff you got to start trying to remove so that you can actually do it. Now there's a lot of people that think chloroforms are good for you, and I'm not, this is not about that. We were trying to do a drink, and if you ever drank chloroform, you would know that you don't want to drink it. It's just not a very tasty kind of thing. So we want to remove it. So we went down the path of drying a certain way, and we work with certified organic farms. One of them I can tell you the states. One's in Colorado. We have 2 in Oregon, and we have 1 in Southern California that's 15 miles from the ocean. And so why do we do that? Well, if we grow the same plant in 3 different locations, we have 3 different plants that are closely associated to each other, but change to their environments. We mix those 3 together. So those 3 plants come together, and when we dry them, they're all 3 locations or 4 locations are drying them exactly the same way. They're packaging them the same way. And then we get it straight to our lab when it's at 8%. So they're testing for the amount of moisture in it. When it's at 8%, it is packaged to us and sent to us. And then it gets into our hands, and then we'll go further with it. So like if we're making a live resin out of that, we will do our blends, mix the stuff together. We take all the buds, we get down to somewhere around about 10% of the stems and roots. And all of that gets, we don't crush it, we don't grind it, we don't do anything. They're all buds. We put them into our machine, and that machine we use a Freon as a heavy weight that pushes through the product, because it's a gas, pushes through the product, presses out all of the essentials that we want out of the plant, including terpenes, flavonoids, and all the cannabinoids. And so we get everything out. It comes out to us as a kind of like a dark, not really dark, like a light brown to medium dark brown, kind of like shoes, right? Not super dark where it looks black. You can tell that it's brown, and that's how it comes out to us. We can clean it all up and make it golden color, but we don't. Like, there's no reason to do that. It's just adding benefits. So now when we're doing that, the plants that have a terpene profile are now, a terpene profile is in our resin.
And it's from 4 different places. So you
get from the same plant, the same strain, but from 4 different places.
Which changes the terpene profiles, because I've learned that from all of you on Clubhouse.
Yeah. And so we get the terpene profile we're looking for, and then we mix a drink around that. So, you know, like if we're making a lemonade, we're going to want a limonene based drink, right? Terpene profile that's rich in limonene, so that it enhances our drink, not tries to change it, if that makes sense. Yeah. So all of our lemonades are with a lifter, sour lifter, which is a limonene profile drink, and that's what comes in. We don't use the leaf only. We don't use the stuff that falls on the floor. We use buds. We use all the popcorn buds. We want the farmer to make as much money as he can, so we don't want his big buds. So we take all the small little stuff that he doesn't want to include, and we pay for that, and that's what we take it, and that's what we make out of our product. And so that product shows up as being at that level that I would expect that if I came to your house and I wanted a glass of water, you would give me a clear glass of water, and not a muddy, dirty glass of water, right? So right. I want to make sure that, you know, when we run our stuff, there's no dirt in our biomass that we're squeezing down and mixing a crude and then taking that and distilling it. We miss all that. We don't do any of that part. So it's really just this machine, and then we get our resin, and then we make that water soluble. And that's the part that goes into all of our products.
For anyone who doesn't understand cannabis growing, y'all just got schooled. This was an education. You're gonna have to Google half those terms, right? Yeah.
I'm not trying to get detail oriented. So that's our drinks, and you know, it's a crazy thing.
So how many different flavored drinks have you got coming out right now then?
Right now we have 4 drinks that are out, which are actually, we do both we make drinks, so we're not adding sugar to it. There's no added sugar. It's all certified organic ingredients. We're not certified organic, so we can't be a certified organic product. But all of the ingredients going into the product are certified ingredients. The reason we can't be an ingredient because we're not certified yet, and that takes a little bit of time. And once we do, we'll let you know. But at this point, we want to make a drink that you would make for yourself, but you don't want to go through all that trouble. Right. So we're making that for you. And it's really to be on your side to hand you this drink, not for us to make a drink and say, this is what you should have, which a lot of people are doing, natural flavors. What is that? Like when somebody says, yeah, it's natural flavors. Okay. What is that?
Artificial natural flavors? Like, are they leaving off that first part? Like, because I can always taste the difference.
Oh, yeah. Because there's a difference, because one's made, and it's made up. And the other ones are the whole juice. And, we're not allowing anybody to add back water. We're taking whatever water and juice was in that thing. So it's a little bit harder for us to formulate each time because the amount of, lemons change in seasons and, they taste a little bit different. So you got to, you can't just always get everything from one place. You got to get it from many places. You got to put things together. You got to build the drink. You can't just dump natural flavors in a water, add some carbonation and say, here you go. There's your drink. We just did that for you. We got to blend this thing for you. We got to make it for you. And that's where the time comes into it and the love, because, when we send you a thing, we touched it, we made it, we want to know what you think. So that's where we went with the juices. So now I have this company and it's called SoulinU, and I have a brand called Soultopia. All right. What is SoulinU now? So we changed SoulinU to be a white label company to try to help other companies or people that want to get into this industry. The problem that I see in this industry is it costs a lot of money to create a product and get it on the market. And
any business, but this one's even worse.
Yeah. So, we created it. We have so much knowledge in our company, and we have the machineries to do all these kind of things. Like if you want to sell a live resin cart, we'll give you a cart. We'll give you the battery for it. If you want a tincture, we'll create a tincture for you. If you want, a pain medicine, we'll do that. And we don't have MOQs. That's the false kind of being a white label company, is create a white label company and say, oh yeah, you got to come and buy 1,000 of them.
Yeah, that's why I haven't started any white labels. I can't afford no white label from nobody.
Yeah, because how you're gonna have 1,000 bottles that you got to get rid of?
I've had a dozen companies approach me in the last 2 months about using their white label. It's just like, I can't afford my phone. I can't afford nothing in life. Like, what makes you think I'm just going to go buy 1,000 of these and wish and hope and pray that enough people that follow me on Clubhouse are going to buy it? Come on.
Yeah. So we'll start you out like you're starting yourself, small, and get you so that it actually works. You can find a market, and all that kind of stuff. You can even come in with an idea, and it could be half cooked. And
most ideas are.
Come in and say, I want to be a beverage. You can come in with us. We'll make you we'll do the formulations and we'll give you a drink. You'll taste it and go, that's awesome. You can create that into a can and buy so many of them. You got to run in the canning business. You got to run about 100 cases. And that's 1,200 drinks, cans, right? So that's not a huge amount, but that's 100 gallons, 255. It doesn't pay for us to run it through our machine when it's less than that, because the cleaning costs are going to cost you more than what you did to run 100. So that was the number we came up with that made sense.
You still have a business that has to run in order for these white label businesses to run.
You can help people. And now we can even help you with sales reps. We can help you sell that product, because what we want, your product might be better than our product, and we want it out on the market. So Why would we not help you with the sales thing? You know, that's a part. We pay our sales reps. They'd be getting your product. You would be able to get out there. You would be able to, you know, there's shows you can go to. If you can't afford a show, you can pay part of our show costs when we're at one, and you can take a section of our table and we'll be there talking about your product. So we're really out there to help companies get into this industry, because we don't know as an industry where everything's going. But we can tell you that today, 40% are smoking. And I will tell you that in 2 years, there will be people in the cannabis industry, a majority of people in the cannabis industry, that will have never smoked a single part of that plant. They will have
into a few, yeah,
indulged in edibles or drinks, and that's it. So, yeah, let's get to work, guys. You know, whoever's out there and you want to do it, you can hit us up.
And where can they hit you up?
They can hit us up at SoulinU, SoulinU.com. And you can hit up Charlie or myself, or just send in something and see what we're doing. And, you know, start the conversation. If you don't start a conversation, nothing happens.
Yeah,
you start a conversation, everything can happen.
And look, for those who follow Down the Road Show and have been for, you know, 10 years, thank you for that. But you know, I've been in the convention scene. So starting a business is one thing. Marketing is a whole nother thing, which is completely different for cannabis and CBD industry compared to other industries. So being able to go with experienced people and go to an event, because I helped run a Comic-Con. You have no idea how expensive it is to go to your first convention or event as a startup business. So that in itself is worth the offer, if you ask me, besides how amazing your products are, which you already know I love. So
sure. So
yeah, that's wow. Oh, that's SoulinU.com. Follow the link. There's a link in the podcast. Just click it directly to the website.
So this is another thing we're doing at SoulinU, is we decided to really start going crazy to help people with cancer and animals with cancer. So we, you know, in the last 6 months, and I'm not patting myself on the back, I am not a vet and I'm not a doctor. And I want to make sure I say this one more time. I am not a vet. I am not a doctor. And all I am is somebody willing to try anything to help somebody in pain. Mm-hmm. And so we started playing around with breast cancer. I had a bunch of friends that all got breast cancer together, and I gave water soluble. It helped them through the chemo. Some thought, and some of the doctors were actually saying, that it made the chemo less than they had to do from the beginning. So it actually
chemo, that's even better. Yeah.
Yeah. So the weird part is, you know, we did it, you know, there's a lot of help with that. Everybody always likes RSO. We can make RSO into a water soluble. So you can actually have that. So it's getting straight into your body.
That's fucking game changing.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. But what we did do is the animal world, they get tumors and they get cancer just like us. And most of it's, you know, it's mostly operations. They don't go through chemotherapy and all this kind of stuff. And
that's expensive as hell. I've been through it. Yeah.
Can't afford it, right? It's so much. And it's, you kind of look at your animal and you let it go. And, you know, we've had 7 dogs now, and no cats yet, but 7 dogs. One of them had 80 tumors in their body. And in a 60-day entourage or product had removed all the tumors, and the doctor was like, what the hell happened here? Like, and the people said, well, we were using this product and all this kind of stuff. And the vet was like, Well, I don't know much about that stuff, but whatever I can tell you is it worked. Whatever it did, it worked. And so we've had dogs that had tumors that were on their skin, and they've used a cream that we made for them, and they were able to put it on the cream. The cool part about it is the dogs, have a better conversation with us than the humans that are using it, which is kind of weird. But when we were trying to do interesting little breaking down the CBD and the CBG, and I was following everybody, and I have some friends that are doctors, and we were talking about what should be in cancer medicine, and like what, and so we started looking at our live resin, and our live resin has pretty much all that stuff in it. So even in our drinks, when you drink it, you're getting the medical benefit of those drinks because it's the same medicine. So if you do have something in your body that you don't even know that it exists there, we're actually working on that. So it's, it's actually pre-medicine, right? Which is an unbelievable thing.
Preventative medicine, which is, look, when I went to massage school, that was one of the things that blew my mind, was when I learned about acupuncture and Chinese medicine and the way they view health and wellness versus here in the States and Western medicine with pills and all. It's just, fixing a problem versus continued health and starting from a healthy point and staying healthy was just like mind-blowing. So that's the same thing.
Yeah, totally. So these dogs, getting back to the dogs.
Yes.
And so we gave
Back
them
to our best friends.
CBD or CBG by itself. They wouldn't touch it. You put it on their food, they walk away from their food. They wouldn't eat it. Okay. They wouldn't, no matter where we did it, they wouldn't touch it. We started doing it with live resin, with the terpene profile, all the different stuff. We put it in their food, they ate it all up. They went right to it every single time. In fact, they would look at you like, is it in there? Like they would, where's the bottle? Did you put it in? Like the dogs would be looking at them like, come on, you got to make sure you give me this stuff. And the people, they were able to save their dogs, from doing this stuff. So anybody out there with any of these kind of issues, we're there. We're a source that will help you. We will not walk away from you. We can't save dogs, and I'm not saying we can. I'm just saying that, this is another way of treating your animals, to something that they could do if they were out in the wild and we didn't cut down all the cannabis plants. Who knows what they would be chewing on.
Well, and I've heard you mention that before, that like your friend's dog would come over and just go right to your plants that you're growing and nibble on a couple leaves and come back and be like, hey, I'm good. And farmers back in the day used to surround their crops with cannabis. So that way the deer and other wildlife would actually eat the cannabis and not their crops. And so it's instinctive for them. It's nature. It's natural. They know exactly what they need, and they know what is good and not good for them.
Yeah, and they can tell us more things than humans can, because a lot of us aren't in touch with our bodies. We don't know what's going on, and we have to go to a doctor for them to tell us what's happening. And dogs and animals can figure it out, and they know what they want. And so being able to give it to them has been a really great thing. So saving them, now I got to start talking about it, because I want to actually get people to start saving their dogs. You don't have to go through all this stuff. So if you're noticing something weird with your animals, hit somebody up that has, a live resin kind of product.
Don't even wait. No, give it to them now. Like, my dog, I smoke my dog's face. I've started giving her some holy oil, especially for fireworks, for her stress and anxiety, because she's got it bad. I mean, there's no reason to not give it to them regularly ahead of time. Why wait for sickness?
You might get a few more extra years out of that dog. It's like, I had a lab that stayed till he was 18. Most labs can't get past 14, but he used to smoke with me. I'd smoke and blow it into his nose, and he didn't run away. He stayed right there, like waiting for the next hit.
Yeah, she'll come all the way down the hall for a hit.
So people are all scared about that, but if you don't smoke, you can use a liquid live resin, or I would definitely use the whole plant and not start breaking it all up. I'm not a big fan of the CBD only MCT oil. That's what you take. I don't believe that. I think, why would you limit the cannabinoids in your system when you need them all? Why would you say you only need CBD? Like, who are you? Like, if a doctor recommends you only take CBD, why, you don't have any other problems in your body that this thing can help? Like, CBG is better than CBD, but everybody talks about CBD, but they don't talk about CBG. You know, CBGA is like the mother of all these cannabinoids, and nobody even talks about it. So nobody even knows that it actually exists. Well, if it's the mother of all, why wouldn't you take the mother of all into your body and let it transform inside of you to what you need? Like, we don't know what we need. And, like, preventive medicine is to take a plant-based medicine diet and take things into your body that'll help you. And, the cannabis plant, the number one thing it does is it relieves inflammation. Inflammation creates pain. You want me to say it
100% me
again?
right there.
I'll say it again. It's the inflammation that's creating the pain. Cannabis stops inflammation. It works at reducing it. When it's reducing it, you are getting pain-free. And,
as opposed to popping a pill that's just blocking your pain receptors. That's the difference, people.
Yeah. And the other cool part is, there's older people, and hopefully some older people are watching you now, and they have arthritis. And there's so much pain with arthritis, and it's actually in the joint. And I'm 66, and I have one joint in my body two that have amazing amount. Like, one's my big toe, and that's painful. Like, you have to walk, and I could take the live resin, put it on it, rub it in, just 3 drops on that joint, and in 10 minutes, I have 0 pain. That 0 pain lasts through the entire next day. So try it. Don't have to live with what you're living with. You could try things in this industry without getting high.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to alter your brain.
Not everything's about smoking and getting stoned, people.
No. In fact, I'm going to tell you,
when you want to, that's okay. I'm saying that's okay, but not everything has to be about that.
It does not have to be about it. And, like, I don't get high like that all the time because I'm always on drops. Like, I'm always on live resin all throughout my day. Like, every time I drink a glass of water, it has something in it. If I drink coffee in the morning, it has something in it. And, I just get used to doing that. But, and I don't touch it until, it's like once in a while I say, hey, I need to get high. And then I just get high, and Charlie and I will sit down and get totally stoked, or I do it on the side of the hill or something like that. But you don't have to get high to enjoy the benefits.
Exactly. And that's, because of my extreme arthritis, which is fucking everywhere. Like, I can't even enjoy my high sometimes because I don't get high, because the THC and everything that I'm smoking goes directly to pain management. So it's like, oh, I wanted to get stoned and watch Star Wars, but I'm not even stoned. Whereas in heavy dose or, proper maintenance of soluble and other cannabinoids in my diet keeps my inflammation down, so I can be more pain-free, so that when I do want to enjoy a high, I actually get high. So, right. I mean, that's one of the things he's speaking to here, people. I'm my own test subject, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience. So,
right. And so, enjoy your time with the plant, but you don't have to get high. You can enjoy the benefits of it. We've figured all those things out. And, doing a drop, nobody's seeing that you're smoking. You don't smell like you smoke. You didn't do anything. And, you can do it in public. You can go on a public bench, drop a few drops on your ankle because it hurts. And all of a sudden you get up and your ankle doesn't hurt. And, what a great relief.
You got that wedding coming up that you want to dance at? Boom, there you go. Now you're dancing. And even better,
prevent it from happening by putting it on
and even better, look, we know so many people out there are just, they don't want to go, and they buy it and purchase it, and guess what? Now you get to buy it directly from them online, have it shipped to your house, and try it in the privacy of your own home to see how it works for you. So then
Nobody
you
will
can
know
use it in
they
public.
bought it.
Yeah,
Not a
exactly.
single solitary person will know. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Privacy. That's
Yeah.
what we all want. So
yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome
Oh.
to play around with this stuff.
beautiful. Well, I mean, I don't even want to go down the legacy rabbit hole anymore. That was just a good enough conversation there.
Yeah. Well, we can get, you can if you want to go into first off, I'm not a big history buff.
Mm-hmm. You lived it.
I was a drug dealer. That's where I came from. I've, changed over time. I've done a lot of shit in my life, and, I enjoy where I am at. I can't leave. I have things that I want to accomplish, and I work my butt off to do that. And, and I get to talk about this. I'm probably, I walk into a room and I instantaneously on Clubhouse or something.
People want to ask every time.
Yeah.
But look, and I don't blame people who don't want to talk about the old days, let alone what they're doing now. Nor do I blame anyone who doesn't want to come out of the illicit, illegal, whatever the fuck market you want to call it. It's, that's where I got the majority of my cannabis through my lifetime, other than the last 5 years, thanks to dispensaries. So and with all the taxing and the stupid shit that California's doing, like, I definitely don't blame them for not trying to
all do a lot of testing. I'm a great fan of testing. In fact, if you go to a dispensary and you buy a product, please ask for a COA. When you get that COA in your hands and you don't know how to read it, that's fine. You can call us up on SoulinU, and you can put it on your phone and scan it and send it to me, and I'll read it for you and give you the information that you get on it.
Yeah. So for you newbies, a COA is a certificate of analysis. It's telling you exactly,
what's in it.
No mold, no pesticides, what terpenes and cannabinoids are in there, all the pertinent information you need to figure out your own health and wellness and how it affects you.
Right. If they don't have a COA, don't buy it. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So now you got this COA in your hand, and you take this product with that COA, and you get certain things happen to you. You should write it on the back of the COA. All the things that you feel that you just got from that COA, write it on the back. So after you go 10 times, and you've done this 10 different times, you're going to go on the back of these things, flip them over, and you're going to see, wow, I had the same feeling here. Oh, this one I didn't really like. It kept me up, or I was trying to go to sleep and it kept me up, or
made me paranoid.
This one I was so hungry, I ate everything in my refrigerator. Or this one, all that would quench me was ice cream. Like, there's going to be these.
This one put me to sleep in 5 minutes.
Yeah, there's going to be pros and cons to each one. And if you write that down, all of a sudden, when you flip them back over and you know which ones you like, and you flip them back over and you show somebody like me those COAs, we can now start figuring out exactly what you're looking for in all your products. And that's what a bud tender is supposed to be able to do. You should be able to walk in there, show them a COA. I want something like this.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
And that's where education is key. Yeah.
So for all you out there, remember COA. Walk in, hey, I want 1/8 of this, or I want this thing or this thing. Well, do you have a COA for that? You don't have a COA. I can't buy it. Just keep saying that.
Yeah. I don't care if it looks like an Apple store. I still want a COA. Like, it doesn't matter how nice your store is. Give me the information I need to know for what's going in my body, because like you said, a lot of people are not in touch with their body. I am unfortunately way too in touch with my body. Right. So I have to know.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, try to stay away from gas stations that sell vape carts that are there, because they don't have anything and you don't have a faintest clue where that stuff got made.
Yeah. Look, and I said it in my documentary too. Don't go to CVS. That's not real CBD. That's not the same as what Rick and a lot of these companies are doing. Like if it's being mass produced like that, it's probably not that good of a product, in my opinion. That's my fucking opinion. You can come after me, CVS, all you want. But yeah, okay. So SoulinU.com. Check out all their amazing products. I can't wait to try the new drinks for flavor and to see how they affect me, because they affect all of us differently. Like smoking affects differently, like edibles affect all of us differently. So if you're not out there trying different things to see how it works for you, well, then you're not trying, really.
Yep. You got to try them all.
Yeah.
There's room for everything, and then you'll find out what you like and you'll find out what you don't like. And I guarantee you that if you've never used it and you're having a sleeping problem or any of these kind of things, we can help you. Like all these different problems that you have in your life, even though the FDA doesn't like us talking like that, but reality wise, I'm not saying my product's going to help you. I'm going to say that there are products on the market that come from cannabis that will help you with any disease you have, be it autism, be it PTSD, be it, diabetes, be it, I can go on and on here and name every single drug. And in fact, I think I sent you something from the FDA.
Yeah.
That talked exactly all.
I copied it, but then it was all pixelated. I had to redo it.
Yeah. Well,
you know what? I'll say it. Come on, FDA. Come on, Biden, White House. I'm talking to all of you guys. Come after me. It's okay, because I will say it. Cannabis heals. Cannabis helps. And if you're not using cannabis, you deserve the right to use it under the First Amendment, according to your religious freedoms, let alone medical freedoms. I don't know why they try to keep it away from us. Our planetary freedoms.
And how can you outlaw a plant that came from a seed? Let's,
it's older than this country.
That's like saying a cucumber can be outlawed, right? That, if they decided all of a sudden that cucumbers were harmful and you can't do them anymore, they can say, okay, it's an outlaw.
Takes one person to throw a cucumber at someone, and then they're like, oh, they're dangerous.
No difference. So.
Oh, well, Rick, thank you for being here. I love you so much. Everybody go hit up Rick and Charlie at SoulinU.com. Follow the links directly in the podcast. Just go right to the website, see where you can find out more. Hit them up for your own white label products so you can get that going. That sounds like an amazing opportunity. And try their new drinks. I can't wait to try them. So
I can't wait to get them in your neighborhood. So
yeah.
you have a certain store you like to shop at, send us a text and like our email with the name of them, and we'll hit them up and send it off to them, and you'll be able to go there and get them. So yeah, that's the best way when a customer decides they want to try something, is have your local store bring it in. It's that simple.
We vote with our dollars if we do it right. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I appreciate the time you gave me. And if any of your people, they need advice or they want to talk about the plant, I'm all open, and our company, be it me or Charlie, who receives all the phone calls, either one of us will be glad to sit down with you and figure out what you need to do. So there you go.
You're good people. So I'm glad I met both of you, and I can't wait to see where all your products and everything you're doing goes in the future here.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. So
all right, brother. Well, we'll see you somewhere down the road.
Bless everybody. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate it. Thank you.